Henning here, and we're on Jamie Humphrey's channel, Six String Alliance, one of the best channels called Six String Alliance on YouTube. And you guessed it, based on the thumbnail and the title, Jamie's here with Phil motherfucking X. Yeah, but it's that way.
Oh my God, the camera went like that. That's crazy.
It's a modern camera.
It's a modern camera. I need to get one of those. I'm awesome, dude. How are you?
For taking a moment to talk to me.
Well, thanks for having me on your show, man.
First of all, I'm going to do the really boring thing. You've got a new pedal out.
I do.
And I just overheard you say to me, say to Henning, actually, what's the pedal based on? Can you tell us?
Well, so there's an overdrive and boost. There's two stages. And the first stage, the overdrive pedal, is based on the, what did I call it? The holy shit circuit.
Yep.
And then the boost is the what the fuck circuit.
I know those circuits well.
No, so for me, I've never been a tube screamer guy. I've never been a clone guy. So it's always about, I love having an amp, getting a little Malcolm Young, AC/DC rock, Led Zeppelin, that kind of, and then with an overdrive pedal, go to, say, Van Halen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're finicky fuckers, right? So one week it's this overdrive pedal, and that week it's the next overdrive pedal. And then I was like, so J Rockett sent me a circuit to check out about 6 months ago.
Yep.
And I'd been playing nothing but that circuit, and I'm like, oh my God, I love the circuit.
Yeah.
And I learned a long time ago that I love a treble and bass knob as opposed to a single tone knob.
Right.
Because I can never fish. You don't have enough time to. Yeah, you can't. The sweet spot is so important, and you never find it.
Yeah.
For me, so treble and bass, awesome, and the bass is almost like. It's hard to describe. You can crank it and it won't get like
woofy. Yeah.
Right? There's no woofy. Everything's clear. Whether I'm talking about pickups or pedals, I like clarity. I like to hear my mistakes. So unlike everybody else.
When you're playing, I watched you play last night, and I thoroughly enjoyed your playing. One of the things I loved about your playing was it's kind of old school. In the sort of attack of the guitar, using your fingers, using the pick, but then you just rip on it. But you use the guitar volume a lot.
Yes.
And you're cleaning up. When you're doing that...
like old farts do.
Yeah.
So he always says to me, why don't you have a preset to do that? I'm like, why do I want a preset? I've got a fucking volume.
That's what I do.
See?
Yeah.
That's what professionals do, Henning.
A one-channel amp, and my clean sound is 3.
Yeah.
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 On the volume knob.
So if you hit it harder, it will still break up, back it down.
Exactly.
So, but when you're using your pedal, if you had it so that you have the pedal on, are you still riding the volume control, cleaning it up?
Yes.
Is it really...
Well, I use the pedal to enhance what I got.
Right.
Because I love the sound of my amp.
Yeah.
So sometimes I want the pedal to be transparent, so it does that, and sometimes I need it to color.
Okay.
And then with these two things, you can do the pre-post thing with the drive and the boost, or you can have either or on. So as an example, if I'm on the road with Bon Jovi, I'll kick on the overdrive for Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn it off, and then say we're playing Lost Highway, which is a country song.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need the overdrive for the solo. I use the boost at a lower level with a little brightness, a little changle to it, and it does that. And then when I play with Phil X and the drills, it's just some and more. And that's it.
Let's just take a moment. Have we still got a moment of your time?
Yes, of course.
Let's talk about the differences of your setups between the two bands, with your own band, the drill.
I don't know if you were listening. I just told you.
But in terms of what you take on the road, Jesus Christ. Have you turned into Henning? Yeah.
No, I can be a dick.
Yeah, so can I.
It's a dick war!
Yeah. So, with the size of your rig when you're with and the effects and...
Well, no, see, it's such a different...
Talk about the size of his rig.
Jesus Christ.
I shaved it this morning. So, in actuality and in seriousness, it's a completely different thing, because Bon Jovi is in-ears.
Okay.
And then when I play with the drills, I get to have an amp behind me and wedges and my pant legs moving when I solo. I love that.
Yeah.
In-ears, I'm not so crazy about. I also learned a long time ago when I started wearing in-ears that some overdrives that sound great when your amp's in your ass, aimed at your ass, is way different than an overdrive pedal in your in-ears. So one would sound great in the drills application and didn't sound good when I had to use in-ears with Bon Jovi. So that had me auditioning. We're doing sound check and I'm auditioning pedals. And it was one of those things where the J Rockett PXO. Just sounds great in both situations. Nice. Now, to answer your question, it's 2 amps and ISO boxes under the stage with Bon Jovi.
You're not using your...
I'm using my Friedman?
Using your Dyne IRs. I've got your Dyne IR pack for 2 notes. You're not using...
I use that with 1 amp. So it was 2 ISO boxes. So the Friedman's going into a Friedman cabinet, 412 and an ISO box under the stage. And then I have a Supro Statesman that I blend in, and that's going into the Capture X.
Oh, nice.
Into a Phil X cabinet. And then, that sounds like you get a little sparkle on my tooth. Ding!
I'll do that. I might have to give that to Henning, might be the professional editor.
I got that plug-in.
I'm not a professional.
So so the whole point of all that stuff is, people say, how do you do that? How do you get the Richie Sambora sound? I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I just get a great rock tone.
Yeah.
And the sound man loves it, and he mixes it in, and the solos sound great.
People hear the songs, they hear a great sound.
That's exactly.
Sounds like it. So you're doing your job as a,
Yeah.
I know that from experience of doing the shows that I do. As long as you're getting the sound, and you're playing, oh, you sound like that. No, I don't. But you're doing your.
But here's another situation. The situation with the drills is I use my half-stack Friedman X amp.
Yeah.
And a little Supro combo. So I always find that a 412 is missing a little mid-range. There's a little gap.
Yep.
And when you blend in a small amp, I use the Radial Twin Cities AV box.
Right.
And the 180 works and the ground works. It's amazing. But anyways, what I get is that little amp filling in that little gap of mids.
Yes.
And it's funny because I'd go play with a drill somewhere and use a house sound guy. And he'd go, okay, let's hear the Friedman. Holy shit, that sounds amazing. Let's hear the Supro.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that? I go, and then I put them both on.
And then
and he gets it. I go, oh, fuck, I get it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
But I love that. I love being able to do that. I love introducing that to people that don't do that, because I actually do it in the studio as well.
Yeah.
How do you get that wall of sound? That's kind of how you get the wall of sound.
I'm going to try with your Dyne IR pack. I'm going to try that. Because you've got those cabinets in that pack.
Well, the Supro 8-inch speaker.
So,
it's a special speaker.
Yeah.
I was really happy when we got the IR on that. It's really great.
So, just one last question.
Do it!
I've got to ask you, man, because I am, as like many from our generation, Van Halen.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, just your SG.
Yes. Oh, the
ESG, man.
Yeah, the ESG, yeah.
Just a little bit about that, because when that went on Instagram, I just went, oh,
dude, because I'm an SG guy, and when Ed passed, it was devastating, and I wanted to have a guitar I could honor him with without buying it at Guitar Center.
Yes.
So, and I didn't want it to be, a lot of people make them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of replicas out there, but I love the SG, and I called Gibson, and I said, can I get an unfinished blank SG? And they're like, what do you mean blank? I go, no routes, because I wanted to have the Frankenstrat routes.
Yes.
And obviously, with the scale length being shorter, they had to compress the routes a little bit too to compensate. But that was, and then I sent it to my boys up in Canada, Scott and John, and they went to town.
Yeah.
And when I got it, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I'm playing it, and then I go, you know what? I got to put a P90 in it.
Yeah.
So when I put the P90 in it, it was my perfect tribute to Ed. Because it was a little of me added to all of him,
Excellent. Phil,
dude,
thank you so
thanks,
much,
Jamie.
man. Thank you.
Wait.
Thank you. Have I got a...
Fucking crane kick, man, crane kick. Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid. What?
Thank you very much. Cheers, Henning.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the intro.